But we do know that there is a legal battle in several battleground states. So let's bring in our legal team, ABC News Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams and Supreme Court contributor Kate Shaw. Thank you both for being here this morning. And do not have to tell you, I know you all have been following this, the number of lawsuits that have been, I won't say they have been, that they're thinking about. They're allegedly going to make these lawsuits become a reality. Let me ask you first, Kate, is there any validity to anything that they're talking about when it comes to these lawsuits?
Well, you're right, Robin. Some of these lawsuits have been filed, but some have just been talked about, and so we're not yet sure if they're even going to materialize. You know, when the president came out very late on election night, he said, we're going to take this to the Supreme Court. You know, you can, of course, challenge various aspects of the election process, but you do need a legal argument. And in order for it to matter in terms of the outcome of the election, it really needs to be in a state that might tip the balance of the Electoral College one way or another. And the vote probably needs to be close enough where the specific legal argument you're making might, in theory, change the outcome of a number of votes such that the election could turn on it. And the kinds of lawsuits that we have seen so far don't seem to me to sort of check those boxes. I'm not sure what the legal theories in some of them are. And in any event, even if it were possible to bring a winning legal challenge to some aspect of the curing of provisional ballot or of absentee ballots that have some issue or the access of monitors to the counting locations in various states, it is hard for me to see that happening in a state that could tip the balance just because things don't look close enough in enough states, although, as you've been saying, you know, we're going to get critical information today and tomorrow from those states that remain in the counting process.
Dan?
You know, Robin, this is really where politics intersects with the law, right? You have to first look at the politics of this and first look at what are the numbers? Is it really close? I mean, we've got two very close races, for example, in Arizona and Georgia for right now. But are those states going to determine the outcome? And is it going to be that close where you're talking about, you know, hundreds of votes or a couple of thousands of votes that are going to literally determine the outcome, as was the case in 2000 in Bush v. Gore? We're not there. You know, because right now Joe Biden has so many avenues with regard to Pennsylvania and Arizona, Georgia, et cetera. There are simply too many places right now and too many votes for this to matter. But if it did get down to that point, then yes, then the specifics of how ballots were counted will become a critical question. But that's not really what a lot of these lawsuits are about. A lot of them are about sort of broader process. And it seems more like an effort to try to delay the process, to try to prevent some of these states from certifying the vote so that the Trump team can continue the ongoing fight.
But two of these lawsuits in Michigan and Pennsylvania, they are about access to ballot counts. Republicans are saying that they have been blocked from observing. But would that be enough to stop vote counts? Dan, let's start with you.
No, it's not going to stop the vote count. The question becomes, what do you do now? And when the remedy for this sort of situation would be give them the access and potentially challenge ballots later. But you don't stop the vote count to allow something like this to change.
Kate, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that suit and the others, you know, it's looking increasingly unlikely that this election is going to be determined by the courts or by the Supreme Court. You know, and I have to say, for the sake of our democracy, that's a good thing. The people and not the courts should be deciding the identity of the winner of our presidential election.
Can't argue with that. Thank you both, Dan and Kate.
I know, and we have seen you can actually log on in some places and see the voting taking place.
One of the remarkable things has just been how orderly, how peaceful, how well that process actually has gone in just about every state.
It's that. And again, we said this yesterday, thank goodness for these poll workers. Many of them are volunteers, and they are taking their time, and they want to get it right, and they will get it right.
Great citizens.
Yes, great citizens. Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.